President Joe Biden issues sharp criticism of the Republican vice presidential pick. In a statement on social media, the president said J.D. Vance talks a big game about helping working people, but really wants to raise taxes on the middle class. This as Mr. Biden prepares to spend the next few days in Las Vegas, Nevada. On his busy schedule, a series of speeches, interviews, and campaigning. White House correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen.
President Joe Biden, who has been under intense pressure to leave the race for the White House and let someone else run instead, isn't going anywhere for now. However, it's being reported in wake of the shooting over the weekend, his campaign is pulling down some TV ads. Meanwhile, in the White House Situation Room today, the president was briefed by DHS and the FBI on that assassination attempt. Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, steps to the podium in the White House press briefing room with this update on the attempted assassination of former president and current GOP contender for the White House, Donald Trump.
Both prior to and after the events of this past weekend, the Secret Service enhanced former President Trump's protection based on the evolving nature of threats to the former president and his imminent shift from presumptive nominee to nominee.
2 days after the gunman fired off his shots, a multitude of critical questions needing answers. The investigation is still very fresh and new.
The FBI is leading the criminal investigation, which is ongoing. An independent review will be conducted to understand the facts regarding protection of the event and make findings and recommendations accordingly.
My fellow Americans.
Just last night, his boss, President Joe Biden, speaking from the Oval Office, saying Americans must stand together and to remember.
While we may disagree, we are not enemies. We're neighbors. We're friends, co-workers, citizens, and most importantly, we're fellow Americans.
With November not that far away, along with the political conventions arriving in Milwaukee and Chicago, the president called for peaceful debate and that it's time to cool down the political rhetoric.
All of us now face a time of testing as the election approaches. And the higher the stakes, the more fervent the passions become. This places an added burden on each of us to ensure that no matter how strong our convictions, we must never descend into violence.
Also tonight, President Biden was scheduled to be interviewed by NBC's Lester Holt earlier today. You'll recall he had that other interview recently with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, trying to prove he's up to the task for running again in November after that debate debacle. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.